What's up, guys? This is Coach Brent from the Driven to Thrive broadcast and the Fallible Man LLC, men's personal development and relationship coach. And I am here today on my channel doing a product review because one of the things as men is we're always looking for useful products. I'm a huge multi-tool person. I love products that work in all kinds of fashions that will customize the way and the fit and I need. And so when I find good products, I like to share them with you guys because I like to share what's useful for me because maybe it's useful for somebody else, right? Maybe you had questions about it, right? Some of you guys have seen my product reviews for my pillow or my head razor that I use, and I absolutely love those products, but I try and provide useful insights and answer the questions for you guys whenever I can. Today's product review is the vertical wall-mounted storage organizer solution by Hang It Simple. And Hang It Simple makes a modular wall storage solution. What I've got today with us is what they call their starter kit. I have it in black. So what I have is a starter kit you're seeing on your screen. If you're looking at the screen, it's on your left side. I wanted black. My wife told me if I got one that had a white bar, my walls are not near as wide as I think they are, and it would look really ugly. So if that matters to you, I guess that's something to take into account. Is a really actually truly white rail might make your walls look dirty. I don't know.
No idea.
Ladies, that might be important to you. I would never think about that. But gentlemen, if you're looking at this, maybe you ought to consider that when you talk to your wife about these, or if you guys are looking at these. But I got this black system, and it is an 18-inch rail with one long L hook, two J hooks, and two teardrop loops, which is a signature thing for them, and then caps. So I'm very interested in this. Now, as we go back and look, what Hang It Simple has done is they are 100% made in the USA. They're a small company here in the US, but they made a modular system. And like I said, I really like things that I can kind of geek out with and make them my own. And while my starter kit comes with, right, two J hooks, two loops that you can see on the screen, and one of those big L hooks, you can buy these individually and customize it however you want. So say I get this put up and I find out I need more teardrop loops, or I like those big L brackets, I can order more of those. I have a friend and a colleague who actually had a custom 6-foot rail cut for his utility trailer. You can find that. Hanging Symbol will actually put that review on their website because it was so cool. But he totally modified his trailer, his big utility storage trailer, with a 6-foot rail that he had custom ordered from Hang It Simple. And then he's got all the hooks he needs to totally organize it. It's very cool. So you can like customize these, swap them in and out. You don't have to put all the hooks on. You can only put one on. You can put all of them on. You can buy different to go with it. I'm really particularly interested in this teardrop loop and all the possibilities with that. Now, before we go any further in this, I do need to pause long enough to tell you guys that I do some freelance digital marketing work, and my client works with Hang It Simple. And so I do some freelance work for him for their website and for some of their social media assets. So
Full disclosure,
I have done some work with them. That's actually how I found out about Hang It Simple. And I was fascinated with the product and had to get my own to see what it was like, because logically it made sense to me, but I am loosely affiliated with them. I am not getting paid or compensated for this review.
full disclosure.
I'm not being paid to do it. I'm not being rewarded for it. I don't have a referral code for you guys. So this is legit. I got this for my studio. Now, as I was saying, I have been doing this, or I think I said, I don't know, this is like take 3. I have been a podcaster and a men's coach for going on 5 years. And I have a very small studio space, guys. I don't live in some big fancy house. I don't have a big commercial studio. I have an 8.5 by 8.5 foot room. But because I have a very small studio and I've been doing this for a long time, you can see a lot of books in the background. I've read most of those for my podcast. Some of them are not, but a lot of those are. guest interviews. And so I have to utilize every bit of space. If you guys had followed my channel when I was under the Fallible Man, you'll know that the shelves behind me were built in the last 2 years. That's something I built later on to, once again, maximize that space, right? So my Hang It Simple is actually going to be for use here in my studio because I have cords piled up everywhere and like light stands and camera tripods and stuff like that. So my use of Hang It Simple is going to be here deployed in my studio just over to my right. There's not a whole lot of space, and I will superimpose a picture over here so you guys can see it's right here. This is the space I'm going to be filling, guys, because I think with this vertical organizer, I will be able to hang and make my cords neater and give it quickly in reach of my desk so I can swap out cords when I need to. I have microphone cables, I have power cables, I have headphone cables, I have USB cables. They're just cables bloody well everywhere. It's like I said, some other things. So I'm trying to take the empty space I have on that wall and maximize it because, like I said, I only have so much space. So let's get to opening this up. I have not even opened this so you guys can see when I open it. So here's the package, guys. It comes in a fairly nondescript package. I tried to black out my address. If it's not, well, don't send me stuff. So we're just going to cut it open. It comes in a fairly nondescript package. I don't know if you guys got Porch Pirates where you are. Right off the bat, guys, we got the Hang It Simple instructions. We all know I'm not really going to read these, but you probably should. If you're more responsible than I am, then you should probably read these. So good news, they sent me the correct rail. That's a plus. So, it's in here good. So that is the rail. This is an 18-inch rail. Right off the bat, I mean, it's lightweight, but it's still like slightly flexible, but it's very solid. Like it feels sturdy. I was a little concerned about that, right? Piece of plastic, but really it's a good composite material. It's pre-drilled. The holes are pre-drilled, so you can see it's already got the holes in it. Hopefully that aligns right. I will say that like my house, the guys who built it really screwed it up, and I can never find the studs when I'm looking for them. They are not where they should be. Any of you in the construction trades would be totally appalled because these are nowhere near 16 on center. Okay, so it looks like it comes with some drywall adapters in case I totally missed the studs, which is probably a good thing in my house. And we got that L hook. You can see these go in. I'm going to switch cameras here, guys. You can see, right, this patented channel hook, the way they do it. Just slides right into that hook and slides along and then sits. So that's the L hook, and we got the two J hooks. I'm a little interested. The rubber feels solid. I don't know if this is like some kind of desiccant, but it's kind of like got this white powdery film on it. And I did look ahead of time, so these little rubber grommets are actually supposed to go over these before you put them on your thing. I looked that up in a video I was editing. So it's really simple, guys. One hand, right? You just squeeze it right over the top of it. And it's very, very easy to put on there. And those look like the end caps that go on the end of the Hang It Simple rail. So right off the bat, like everything feels solid. I guess the desiccant kind of stuff on the rubber would make some sense for shipping and stuff like that. protect the rubber. So that's how it comes. I've got my 2J hooks and my teardrops and my L. These are nice long screws, guys. Like, look at that. That's a really nice long screw. That's almost a 2-inch screw, or right at a 2-inch screw. So this sucker is meant to stay. I know these have a weight limit on them, as does any shelf. And we'll scroll down here and see what the weight limit is. Okay, guys, so here are dimensions, and here are the weights. I'm going to move this out of the way. Here are the weights. The weight rating on the rail itself is 50 pounds, and it looks like 10 pounds per hook. So that's the operating capacity on this. Like any other shelf you get, guys, it's gonna, right? Obviously, certain things are not made to hang on lightly, but I have seen you can combine these. Like my friend has 2 of these, and he has a post hole digger in between 2 of these, and it holds it just fine. So I think most manufacturers have to give a really kind of rounded, not recommending, but most weight limits are a little off. So I would guess it might hold a little bit more, but do so at your own risk. Now I'm going to cut the video here. I'm going to get this installed, and then I'll come back after you guys see, after I get this up.
10 minutes.
All right, guys, so I just wrapped up installing my Hang It Simple vertical storage unit. I ended up using only 4 of the hooks that came with it. I used 1 of the teardrops, 2 of the J hooks, and the L for the spacing. Instructions, very clear on how to install it, very easy. It came with a drywall sink, and just like I expected in my house, I hit 1 stud and I had to use the drywall sink on the other because none of my framing is right. So thankfully I had that. That's completely with the package. I used the pre-drilled holes that were already in there and had no problem. Went in nice and easy. I eyeballed it, but I did check the level with my level on my phone, and I got it pretty much dead on. Is a little tiny off, but guys, it was super simple to install. The eyelets, or the teardrops, whatever you want to call them, they take some work. If you don't want them on the ends, then they take some work because they're rubber as opposed to the hard plastic composite material that the rest of it seems to be. And so you got to wiggle it down if you want it any farther than the end. But easy installation. I used a knife to open the package and my DeWalt to pre-drill into the wall and then screw the screws in. Super simple, all said and done. Honestly, like it took me like 4.5, 5 minutes to put the whole thing in. And then I organized it and got the stuff you guys can see in the pictures, what it looks like now, what it looked like before. User-friendly instructions, user-friendly to install. And now that space is a whole lot more functional because it was a dead space in the wall for me, and I just can't afford that in an 8.5 by 8.5 studio. So the material seems really solid. I'm not going to go hang a concrete mixer from it, right? But for I would trust it to hang a shovel or something like that. It's absolutely going to fit my needs here in the studio. I've got a bunch of cables and some headphones and stuff. You guys saw the picture hanging on it. I actually may have to get me another one and put it down lower on the wall because, like, just as a hook system for my cables, that's so much more efficient than having to dig them out of some boxes that are normally behind me. I've got some crates back there, and I got to dig for cables all the time. So this is a much more efficient system for my cable storage as well as to store some other things. So I may end up getting me a second one and putting it down a little bit lower on the wall. So that way I just like 2 rows of hooks to hang cables on. I think that would be an efficient use of that space for me. The material seems very solid, user-friendly, and it looks nice. So yeah, that's my review of the Hang It Simple Vertical Storage. I think it's a solid investment. They're $24.95, guys. They're super affordable. And like I said, apparently they do custom work. I know the guy who had a 6-foot rail made. So if you need it longer than 18 inches, I think they come in 18 and 36. But if you need a longer railing system, they absolutely have that as a possibility. I would buy this again. I would absolutely recommend it. I'm going to give it a 5-star review. Like I said, not being paid. This is totally on me, but I can think of a whole bunch of uses. I may be ordering these for other spots in my house. My laundry room could use some cleaning up on the storage as well. So there may be a part 2 to this in the future, but 5 out of 5-star, guys. It's affordable. It's easy to use. It's user-friendly for instructions and installation. Minimal toolage. You could put these in with a hand screwdriver if you really wanted to. I just am too lazy to do that. And it looks nice. It fits with my office. And so, yeah. Until next time, guys, I hope this helped. I hope you found it useful. And as always, be better tomorrow because of what you do today. I'll see you next time.